Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, 2 of the 4 founding partners of Heartwood Soundstage discuss how and why they created this state-of-the-art performance venue, enriching the musical experience in our community. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. I am delighted and so pleased to introduce my guests, Hoach Shatama and Dave Malash, founding partners of Heartwood Soundstage. And it's wonderful to have both of you here, Dave and Hoach, and to think back about almost a year ago, Harvey and I were at your first Friends of Heartwood Soundstage evening. It's almost time for another one coming up the end of January.
January 27th.
Yes, we'll be back again and looking forward to it. And so I've been anticipating this Ilene Silverman show ever since then. So
well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Really. And you know we do have 2 other partners, right?
I know, and please recognize them because
Yeah.
It's the four of you gentlemen that make it all go.
Bob McPeak is in Gainesville. He's been undergoing some treatments for some a cancer that we think he's going to beat.
Good.
We hope to see him back fairly shortly. Paul Pavelka is in California, and he will be here for the 27th for the Friends of Heartwood.
Excellent. Well, because it takes, a lot of people, but the 4 of you that came up with this whole idea, this wonderful creation. So before we kind of get into how that evolved, just explain what is Heartwood Soundstage. Where are you located here in Gainesville, and a live performance venue, state of the art, but so much more. Dave?
Yeah, so Heartwood it's a lot of things, but primarily it's a live recording studio.
Okay.
And intimate listening room. So when Bob and myself were first talking about this over Indian food, we were just both kind of commenting on the experience of a musician and what we found was lacking in a lot of the venues that musicians were playing in.
Right, like might be a bar, might be a club, noisy, not good acoustics, and there's the musician twirling away, hoping people are paying attention.
Yeah, well, Bob and I are kind of spoiled as recording engineers. We're often one-on-one with an incredible musician singing into a $4,000 microphone with the best speakers in a perfectly tuned room. And I think he and I both felt that when we'd go see some of our favorite artists in a local bar or a restaurant, you lost a lot of the dynamics of what made that special. And that conversation is something that Bob has been thinking about for a while. He and I were talking about some different iterations, and then I was introduced to Hoach, and Hoach has really been the guy who has made it all happen in terms of building a place with, like you said, music first.
Yes, and a place that I know musicians want to come back to because of the respect you give their music and their performance.
Well, we made the room. Paul Pavelka, our partner,
right,
is a sound engineer. Okay, so he designed the sound in the room, and I had an opportunity, along with one of my associates, Chip Sawyer, to design the look of the room. So together, we actually thought we kind of came up with something pretty good.
Oh, you know? Well, you have. You know. And it's several rooms, it's several areas. It's quite large and quite beautiful. And so you've got, and go back to what you talked about, audio, video, all of that can take place, streaming. It is state of the art.
Yeah, one of the most amazing things about Heartwood is that besides just being a great place to listen to music, we're documenting a performance that we hope for many, many years will be something that's seen. And we've done shows where there were 100 people in the room, but tens of thousands of people throughout the world have actually gotten to watch the stream and that sort of thing. So,
right, so that enlarges the audience in the way things are going these days.
yeah, it keeps the intimacy of the small performance venue, but the audience is really potentially in the millions of people of with the
Phenomenal.
right
I mean, we
And
think that is ultimately the upside of Heartwood, is that we can put this out for lots of people.
Yes, and musicians, and when I get your emails about what's coming up, I am struck by the diversity of the musicians, the talent, the type of music you're presenting. It's just, there's just so many choices. I know you're musicians yourselves, and so that to me is a whole level of just getting these musicians here and lining it all up. But there's just so much wonderful music out in the world.
There is a lot of great music out there. I mean,
Yes.
we first started thinking, well, we'll do one show a month, you know.
Oh boy, no.
2 shows a month, maybe.
No,
you know, but it turned out that there are lots of opportunities to bring some really great musicians into Gainesville.
There are.
There
and
are great musicians in Gainesville, actually.
Yes,
but
and I think you're letting people know that and giving them that respect, and you're just enriching the whole musical aspect of our community.
Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about Heartwood Soundstage. And Hoach and Dave, there's so much more to talk about. And so step back a moment, because you're both very talented gentlemen, as are the other 2 partners. So speak a little about your expertise and Paul and Bob, and how all that blends together to make Heartwood what it is.
That could be a long story.
I know,
you know?
we have to shorten it a bit.
Well, most of the people in town know me from Akira Wood.
Exactly.
Akira Wood is
Yes.
an architectural woodwork operation, and we do pretty large
Oh, you do.
projects around the country, and mostly right now in Miami. But we've had an opportunity to build some really nice places, fancy interiors, really nice woods, etc., and significant architectural buildings. And for me, this particular opportunity was an opportunity to actually build something in Gainesville.
Exactly.
Okay, so, you know, we started the company by trying to put beauty out there in the world, and we've been doing that for 40 years. And
Congratulations.
We had a chance to do it in Gainesville.
Yes, and
So,
in Heartwood.
At Heartwood.
Your work is represented there.
And along with
Beautifully.
Paul, who is a sound engineer, acoustical engineer, we could put those pieces together, the visual and the audio, right? And then with Dave and with Bob, you know, they are both recording engineers.
Right.
You know, and we're all musicians, right?
So you understand the musician's point of view,
Right.
as we've talked about, and what it's like to be on stage, and what it's like to be the listener, the person in the audience. And so much has changed technically since you started years ago as sound engineer and hide and seek records and all these things that now we, it's a journey.
I want to say one thing is that Dave was kind of the last piece of that puzzle, because Dave was doing videos of local musicians in his basement called Medusa Studios.
I remember that.
And that's where we met him.
Right.
So he was kind of the last piece of that puzzle.
To fit the 4
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And now we have, not without a lot of work that's still going on, Heartwood Soundstage. And so explain a little more about the venue, because we've got the main performance area, which seats about how many?
It's 135,
Mm-hmm.
and almost 200 standing. So most of our shows are seated, really, but we do some rock and roll shows and some dancing shows where we pull all the seats out, and that's a lot of fun.
Oh, yes.
Get the hazers
I know.
going, you know, and
Yes.
all the lights moving around.
But because you have, okay, then you have a wonderful lounge, you have comfy chairs, beer and wine's available. What about, and I think you have food trucks sometimes, yeah.
We do.
So that's tell me more about that Heartwood experience.
Well, you know, the main room is a listening room.
Okay.
So we're asking people to come in and listen.
Right.
And not talk.
Right.
You know, not chit-chat around. If you want to chit-chat around, you can go out in the lounge, okay?
And still be watching on the screen,
right.
on the big screen.
And we got great monitors out there.
Good.
You know. So, I mean, there's a different place.
For every aspect,
right.
yes. And people at any given time might be here, go outside, depends, you know, on the evening. And you've had you have another Heartwood Festival coming up, which packs it in. Tell me what that will be like.
Well, a few months before we opened, Hoach bought the adjacent lot next to Heartwood, and I think there are plans in the future for maybe building something on that area, but we're very blessed that it's a beautiful place to do a small music festival. And our first day open, we had over 1,200 people show up for the grand opening, and we had over 20 bands and music nonstop. And we the day after, we kind of looked at each other like, wow, that is an area that we weren't expecting to be in. And so we've expanded. We're doing now 3 or 4 music festivals a year. We do our yearly Heartwood Music Festival now. This will be our 3rd one on February 23rd.
Excellent.
And then we have on April.
Yes.
In April we have the WUFT thing.
Right, bringing Ethan Bortnick to Heartwood, another great opportunity. And I want to go back and talk about Tom Petty and that big festival, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to discuss that.
Great.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're talking about Heartwood Soundstage, and go back to what you were saying before, Dave and Hoach, about the big Tom Petty festival that was held to honor one of the musicians of our community.
Well, so 2 years ago, after Tom Petty passed away,
right?
Jason Hedges, who's the lead singer for the band Heavy Petty, we were discussing, and we were all kind of hit pretty emotionally by that, and the whole town was reeling. Yeah, and so we kind of came up with the idea of doing a tribute concert. And so about 2 weeks after Tom's death, we did a concert with Heavy Petty and a bunch of Mike Boulware and a bunch of the Gainesville alumni.
Right.
And it turned into one of the most really cathartic and moving experiences that I've ever been a part of personally. There were people openly weeping. People really became more of a wake for Tom. And
right. It just enhanced his music and his memory in this whole community.
It would have been his 66th birthday.
Right.
Yeah.
That's. It's hard to. Yeah. I mean, we lost someone so great, but you came around again with another tribute concert that was awesome.
Yeah, so spontaneously after the last event, I think it was so well received that within a few weeks, a Facebook group was created completely independent of us, and hundreds of people throughout the United States started chiming in that they were making a pilgrimage to Gainesville on Tom Petty's birthday.
Right.
So.
And they did.
They did. And it sort of evolved into a citywide celebration. There was events at Depot Park,
exactly,
at Heartwood, at the Northeast Park dedication, and we had people from as far away as Hong Kong.
His fan club, his
fan club came
amazing.
Here. It was really, and we met people from all over the country.
There were maybe 700 or 800 people, we think, from the Tom Petty Nation who came to Gainesville. And we were able to bring a couple of Tom Petty's old bandmates in to play. Tommy Ledden.
What? Yes.
Right, and Danny Roberts. Both of those guys played in Mudcrutch. And
Oh, what a joy and to bring all this together. And how wonderful, because it brought so many more people to you, to Heartwood Soundstage.
yeah, and into the
And-
city of Gainesville,
Yes.
the hometown of Tom Petty. Right?
Exactly. And now where Heartwood Soundstage is, Heartwood is next to Depot Park and the Cotton Club Museum. I mean, it's just all evolving, and you're right, part of that new heartbeat of our community.
We're going to be the center of the entertainment district.
Yes,
shortly, I think,
you are
know?
changing the entertainment district, the entertainment possibilities for this community. You're raising the bar
We
for
think we're
Gainesville.
upping the ante, right?
You are.
Yeah.
And we those in the audience have to just come and explore. We need to come and explore and get to know more of what you're bringing to this community. And Dave, you were talking about the whole content creation aspect that you're working on.
Well, I think as we've been open for the last couple of years, I think as it's evolved, we've kind of realized that our role here is sort of curators of the music and art that we're bringing to Heartwood, and it's very important to us that we bring a wide variety of music, but it all has to be the best quality. Good shows don't really work well at Heartwood. They have to be great shows, and they have to
I
be,
like
and
that.
they have to, and
Oh, you
And
like
we-
that?
and we're trying. I think the highest compliment somebody can give to a music venue is that they'll go to a venue to check out music because they know the quality of the artist is always of that level.
Right.
And we've worked really hard to make sure that all the shows that we're booking leave you with goosebumps. And we've, more often than not, our shows end with standing ovations, and it's
Dave has been
wonderful.
Dave has been doing a lot of the booking. Wes Wheeler has been doing a lot of the booking.
Yes,
Those
give
guys
credit
have-
to him
yeah,
and Dave.
Those guys have really, they've dug out some
I
people
get-
that
I get the
amazing
emails.
to
I'm
me.
astounded at just the diversity of talent and performers, and yes, the quality. I'm amazed at all that you're bringing to this community at Heartwood, via Heartwood. It is outstanding.
Well, thank you.
And and we still have more to cover. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're talking about Heartwood Soundstage, and I just have to know, how are you keeping all of this going, gentlemen? It's a lot.
It is a lot. It's more than we
Than you
thought
might
it
have
was
thought
going to be,
initially,
at
right.
the beginning of this whole venture. But on any given night, we've got house staff, we've got bar staff, we've got video staff,
Right.
we've got 3 to 4 camera operators. We have streaming, we have a video producer, we have
Wow.
a live sound person. So
All of that for each performance.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we have 130, 140 seats kind of thing. So it takes a lot to do this, and we've asked the community for some support, and boy, we have a lot of friends. We have over 100 friends of Heartwood
Excellent.
at this point, and
And that makes a big difference.
and yeah, it's really helped us in this past year, and it's helped us to bring some of these acts that we would not be able to do, really.
Right,
honestly.
into this intimate setting. And the caliber of artists that you're bringing in is extraordinary. And so if we want to become or continue as Friends of Heartwood, all of that information is on your website. It's a great website, very easy to find all of this information. So that's one way we, the community, can help Friends of Heartwood. And what
We're
about,
having a Friends of Heartwood event
yes,
on the 27th of January at 5 p.m.
And
so the
can
community is
learn.
welcome.
yes. And to gather and learn more about it. And what about sponsors? Businesses have stepped up and
Yes,
have offered their support.
Yes, we've had support from businesses. We have support
Right.
from individuals. that we have sustaining members.
Yes, and
know.
speak about that. That's another, we can go to the website, levels are available there to let us know how to make that happen for Heartwood.
Right.
Okay, because, you know, as I said, you got a lot of plates spinning.
And this is for the community. This is for
Right.
Gainesville. You know, I mean, we'd like to make some money someday. Right?
But it is enriching our musical community. Dave, you've talked about the artists that are coming and what it's like to be in Heartwood for them, to perform there.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most important aspects for us, and something that Hoach really stressed to me was that it's how we treat these bands is very important to our business plan, because ultimately that is how the word's going to get out to bigger and more reputable groups and better groups. We're already starting to see that with some of the bands from Miami and things like that, and bigger markets coming to Gainesville, when otherwise for certain genres there wasn't really a place for them to play.
Right, they might be in the area, but they'd bypass Gainesville because they wouldn't have the right venue.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of places like Heartwood.
No, I mean,
you know, there really aren't.
I just find it extraordinary.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful, and it just has, I know it didn't just spring up because you four founding partners with so many other people, Wes Wheeler, who's always sending out those great emails to let us know what is coming up next, and others. It didn't just spring up, but suddenly it just has appeared in my vision, and I can't think of any place I've been where I've seen anything just like it.
It really is something that you have to experience.
Yes,
and I think that's
the
something.
Community needs to go.
Yeah, it's not something that most music isn't digested in this format. You're either in big arenas or
Exactly.
you're in. I mean, you're in a bar or you're in a restaurant. Seeing live music in a recording studio quality environment is something that really gives you a much deeper range of emotions, because you're able to get the nuances and the dynamics that are just not really, it's rare that you're able to experience music in that way.
But you
So,
can at
yeah.
Heartwood Soundstage. Yes.
So come experience, come try it out.
Well said.
Can we make a call out to our
Certainly.
partner Bob?
Yes, I was
Yeah.
thinking we're wishing Bob good health.
Yes,
You
Bob.
need him.
Bob will
He's
be
part
back.
of you.
Bob, we think will be back with us on the 27th of January.
Oh, good.
And so, we wish you all the best. Come back healthy.
Yes.
Be with us.
Yes, well said. And I appreciate all of you, you four founding partners, Paul, Dave, Hoach, and Bob, for what you've done for Gainesville to bring us Heartwood Soundstage. I'm so pleased.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope I will see you soon at Heartwood Soundstage. I'm so glad you tuned in. I hope you'll join us next week. Take care.